Earth debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a coffee, Patreon, crypto and thanks button in the info box below the video. Speaking of patrons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So, a massive shout of thanks and appreciation to Colton James, BG, Survive the Spin, FE Patriot, Steve, On the Level, Thomas van der Zander, Gary Hughes, Measured Flat, Chris Wouters, Sensual Goat, Mitch Kennedy, Rhode, The Name's Burley, Todd Wazzle, Jason Hornsby, Christoph Fournier, Flat Earth Travolta, J Mels 24, Unimento, M, Iron 26, Endless, Goldie McKiernan, Retro Bill, Level Plain Poem, Michael Kahn, John Kays, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Hairy Blade, Mobile Max 777, Rob W, Del West Watson, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, Abraham Mohammed, Skeptic 936, Texas Mike, Chow Yun Cat, David Wayne Foster, and Dank. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. As I say, links to Patreon are in the info box below this video. But with that, I'm going to hand over to whoever is in Discord and G+, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show. Who are you talking about?
The Sky Grifter.
Who?
What's it?
Oh, I'm going to go make coffee.
Yeah, it seems like instead of making videos, he just came on, and he already did that, so maybe he thought enough is enough. Or actually, I shouldn't say what I think he thought, but he did show up a few times. Yeah, I don't recall anybody sharing any videos that he made about it.
Yeah, that's not the problem, him showing up. The problem is he didn't apologize or acknowledge anything that was said.
Yeah.
I mean, like, not a little bit of, yes, I've lied, or yes, I said the exact same thing and I said the exact opposite to it. The next sentence.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, you don't have to say it like that. You could be like, well, I didn't realize I was in contradiction. I'll think more about it. Or, oh, wow, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. You know, some kind of recognition.
Yeah, it's true. The doubling down is one of the more obvious parts of it. You know what I mean? It's like the more we go over it, the more glaring it gets, the more shiny the BS comes, and I kind of like that. Like, we're dealing with deception and liars, and it's interesting that we'd even have to deal with that among our own side, especially since we just found out lies. All we did was find out lies, and now we have to, justify the whole world as if we're God.
Right. And in that, there's a lot of pressure put on some flat earthers, and they start making up stories. And the best place to get stories from are from the past. And so they bring back the ether. It's a pressure that's applied. And it's really not fair.
You could always say no to a debate.
You can, but when you take away someone's what they thought they thought they knew something, and you take that away, it seems cruel. That's why they always come back at you. Well, what is it then? There's a desperation in it, you know, and
Like, why don't you believe?
like Oh, what was that? I just heard the "Why don't you believe" part.
Oh, I was just saying they come in and they're all like, why don't you believe in this? You know what I mean? If they had anything solid, they'd give us something solid. That's the truth of it. If anybody had anything, they would bring it. They don't bring it.
All right, but what they do show us, we show a fault in it, right? And they go, well, what is it then? If this thing I showed you isn't correct in how I interpret it, then what is it then? You know, that's
Yeah,
they
the
want
replacement part.
answers. And I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I was talking about the replace my fantasy cliche that they do. You know, we point out that, level's flat. Well, what does it look like? What shape is it?
Yeah, yeah, they want us to replace something that they've lost or that we've taken away from them. You know,
We
and
kind of lost it too.
yeah, and when it first happened, you may have felt the need to say, "Well, what is it then?" You know, it's just a natural reaction.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
It's a little too early for this, Nathan.
Ciao.
It's too early for you Yanks, is it? Got a dentist appointment. Not at 2:30. It's actually at 3:30, but that gives me enough time to get down there. So I've started the live stream early. There may or may not be an after show. I'm glad we got actually on time in terms of when I scheduled the stream. So I scheduled it for 1:30 UK time, and we started at 1:30 UK time, which I'm very pleased about. So good. You all had a good, lovely weekend, I hope?
No,
Yeah, it's
Yes.
all
let's
right.
get
Remember
started.
it's Sunday.
Right. John said no. Then I heard someone from Discord. I think it was Adam. So then Sensual after Adam, go.
I just said it was all right.
How boring. Sensual?
It was Remembrance Sunday, so quite somber.
I didn't know that. I should know that. Okay, well, jolly good. I had a good weekend. We've got our headlights on the car, other than being a tiny little bug in one of the lenses, which is a little bit irritating. Both of them work, which is more important than anything. So I'm delighted that I've got two working headlights on the front of the car and we won't die when driving in the darkness, which is excellent. So in celebration of that, I cleaned the car, or at least took it to a car wash and then spent 2 hours vacuuming it because it was disgusting with all the kids' stuff in it. And then spent another 2 hours today cleaning it, like cleaning the interior. But also there was a failure of the, what do they call it, cabin filter. And it had been blowing bits of filter into the cab because it had deteriorated so much. So after cleaning the car, I thought, oh, I should really blow the fan high to see if it blows any more of that crap out of the vents. And it did after I'd cleaned it all. I'm like, oh no. So I had to sit there with this little tiny WD-40 straw poking all these bits of old air filter out of the vents while the fans are blowing full blast to try and blow it up to the vent tops. Anyway, so that was my day. Fun. But on the other hand, other than it being old and dented and dinged and scratched and a little bit rusty, it's absolutely perfect and mint. The car, that is. So I'm quite pleased. Worked very hard cleaning it. So that was my weekend. Other than that, I've still got toothache. Going to the dentist. That's about it. Should do a bit of housekeeping.
I think what
Go on.
I think what Adam said was more interesting. He just said it was all right. He just what you said didn't sound all right. I mean, 2 hours cleaning the car and then another 2 hours cleaning the car. I don't know about that.
It's probably more like 2.5. So to vacuum the car, it's an awkward shape because it's a tiny little sports car. To get the car seats out, you have to rearrange the car to do it. And I vacuumed all of it, took all of the stuff out of it, everything, every single loose item out of the car, and the boot, or what you call trunk, which has got like a folding rug thing in. Took that all out. Took all the rugs that are in each seat, footwell, took all them out, washed them all, cleaned them all, vacuumed it all. And that was yesterday. And then today, like I say, I went around the interior, washed it with degreaser, got all the mud off, went over it with, I've forgotten the stuff my wife puts in a bottle that's like less corrosive and makes it all smell nice, cleaned it all that so it's shiny and nice. Then I did all the windows, like I say, cleaned out the vents, went through it with a paintbrush on all the little nooks and crannies, scrubbed all of the leather with leather cleaner and then conditioner, and went all over the seats with fabric, whatever you call it. I think it's carpet shampoo. Did all of that. That was about 2.5 hours today. So I probably spent 5 hours over the last 2 days on the car. But it's just been I've just spent hundreds and hundreds of pounds, so it's got working headlights. So I feel like I kind of owe it to it. You know what I mean? Anyway, very, very dull for those watching. Good.
You know that vent that you're talking about, it's creating a differential pressure in your vehicle. Does that need a container?
I mean, it's under atmospheric, hate the term, but that's what they call it, pressure to begin with, right? So give or take, we're at 14.7 psi, and in order to push the bits of whatever you call it, old material that was in a vent, bits of crap, up to the top, then yeah, I've got to create a pressure differential. I've got to put a higher pressure below those vents to force the bits up against the existing pressure. But to do that, you've got to be in the whole thing that we're describing takes place in an existing pressure, doesn't it?
Yes.
So yeah, that in order to achieve any of the above, you must be under containment in order to achieve that. Yes. So space is fake.
Good to know. I mean, it's not like the whole world believes that there's an area that gas is not filling, is there? I mean, that'd be a crazy belief.
That is actually the general Western worldview. That there's an area above our heads that's a vacuum and the gas that you're breathing is not filling it. But that's just a religious belief to square a circle of a heliocentric paradigm with stuff flying around, other stuff described from the centre of balls that we aren't standing on. That was a fantastic segue, John. From car vents to fake space. That was brilliant. Round of applause for John. Speaking of which, I might as well ask the housekeeping question. Any evidence that you can have gas pressure without containment?
Not without magic.
Well, no, we haven't got magic. We've got gas pressure that we experience. That's not magic. It's just gas pressure.
Well, that require containment.
Yeah, so no magic involved. Are you there, Arthur?
Hello, Nathan.
Did you want to plug your show?
Yes. Find me at @Flat Arthur on X as well as YouTube. And join me in my live streams, which I'm not able to do on a regular basis. Still, keep your bell notifications on so that you get to know whenever I go live. And it was a pleasant surprise to see John the Quantum Eraser, the paterfamilias, on X today in a Space on X. On X they have space, and some really old people, people whom I used to know some 2-3 years ago, and we used to talk on Discord. There was this Miggy guy, and they were having a space. So a new bunch of people whom I got to know are also doing regular flat earth shows on X. So that was also something interesting and new.
Yeah, I've tried to get in on that hustle because it's Miggy, right, from Politics Server. So, yeah, I was like, I'll be willing to do that if that's something that I can get involved in. So, how QE's managed to muscle his way in before I've even figured out what it is beyond me. But that's always QE's way, and it was the Politics Server, and I didn't even know what that was. He was in there talking to people, so Makes sense. He's ahead of the curve. Fair enough. As I'm more sprightly, aka younger than he, I would hope that I was the pioneering one in terms of those sorts of new platforms and new technologies, but he's always been ahead of me. Hasn't he? You're telling me about his endeavours with X to do with politics and Miggy, and I was hearing about it on Friday and going, oh yeah, I'll be looking into that. I want to get involved in that action. What do we hear on Monday? Kiwi's already done it. What's your native language? Is it Hindi?
Yes, almost 50% Hindi and rest of it English, because many of the terms which I use, I do not even know the Hindi equivalents of, regarding celestial navigation and measurements and angles. So, good 50% of it is in English, but the conversations usually go on in Hindi. Yes, that's the language.
But it's like there's got to be a lot of Hindi speakers out there because it's like I think it's top 3 languages spoken, isn't it? A lot of Hindi speakers.
Yeah, just in India, they don't speak Hindi. Hindi is not actually the national language of the country. We do not have a national language, and there are people in the southern parts of our country who do not even know Hindi at all. But
How
in
can you?
major states, in the northern parts, Hindi is the predominantly spoken language.
Yeah. So if you're a
How
Hindi
can you have
speaker,
laws?
Flat Earthers, I'm nearly done with my plug for Flat Earther because I tune in because there's enough English for me to follow along. Obviously, I know the subject he's talking about, and often he's talking about us and what we do here. Thank you, Arthur. But I can follow along because there's enough English to follow along. But that's not my reason for promoting it, right? My reason is because there's going to be people who are Hindi speakers that are going to be more interested in what Flat Earthers' take is on this because he's doing reasonably regular live streams now. So even though I'm not speaking your native tongue, it's enough for me as a Flat Earther to tune in. And the fact that I, as I'm subscribed to you, get presented you and you're on the panel, more likely to see you than I am some random person that's covering the same subject as we do. You know, in other words, we've got to have so much engagement with another YouTuber for you to be offered to me, and you're not even speaking my native language. But there we go. You do appear on my subscription feeds, which is great for you. So that's one thing. But yeah, it's more to appeal to anybody that, you know, speaks your language as opposed to the English. But if don't get me wrong, if you are an English speaker and you want to check out what Flat Earther's talking about, you might still find an intrigue. I do. And you can probably see me now and again in your live stream chat saying hello.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you so much. And the reason that I talk a lot about you guys is the same situation that you are dealing with in the Western world. I am in a microcosm of that same thing here in India with the Flat Earthers of India and also people interested in this subject. So I have counterparts or characters here in India whom I can completely relate to in your panel and in your circles, even the ones, the anti flat earthers. You know what I mean?
You
So
know exactly where I
I've
was
got.
going. I love it. Right. So this is the intriguing part, right? People are people, and when you see the Indian equivalent of Muktoon or the Indian equivalent of Arwen, you know, there's people from our own side that you can reflect upon what they're doing in the moment and say, oh, that's the equivalent of Simon Dan. You know what I mean? It's just intriguing or amusing for me when you point it out. I think the last one you pointed out was a Muktoon equivalent, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, there are similar persons and people who come up with same arguments, even using the same words. So you get to know that their source of information is the same. But other than that, even what concerns me are the flat earthers, the Etherians of India. Those who are talking, who have gobbled up the feast of nonsense and now are promulgating it. So I keep them on check, and you can trust me that I'm doing a good job of it. So the prominent flat earthers here in India actually do pay attention to what I say, quite unlike the Gerens and the Witsits and the David Weisses not paying attention to what you are saying.
I mean, I could suggest that the whole thing's fixed, but it does seem to be an international or worldwide I used to say Western world problem when it comes to heliocentrism, but it's not. It's worldwide. After doing a bit of OMI and talking to people from across the plane in all different countries, they all have the same story. Doesn't matter what religion or what country you're from. You're getting taught in school that you're on a ball. So the way the characters develop in the various different, places around the world is because they're all feeding from the same trough. So, the fact that there's a angry equivalent of McToon or a snarky equivalent of Simon Dan, but also the flat earth equivalent of Whitsitt and Jaron peddling the feast of nonsense. Well, that's what's out there. We talk about it like it's a table full of food, but everyone and all from everywhere are feasting at this table, the feast of nonsense table. So, it doesn't seem to matter what language or what country you're in, you're going to see these people, these, what do you call them, stereotypes, archetypes, whatever you want to call them. These types of people that peddle the nonsense we brace against on a daily basis when it comes to Ethereans or Globe Earth, whatever it may be. Nonsense, basically. We brace against nonsense.
Well, you
Anyway.
would see that in any topic.
Say again, John?
You would see that in any topic, would you not?
You would, but I just want
That
to...
character
Can someone grab me
development.
Flat Earth's link so I can stick it in the live stream chat and get people actually to link on? Because if there's no link, no one's going to type in Flat Earther and look you up. Can one of the mods put it in the live stream chat if you're around? I know we've started half an hour early, so there's hardly anyone about. There's only 40 people watching. But nevertheless, if someone can stick it in Master B, I'll post it in the live stream chat. Are you a Master B Flat Earther? If so, can you put in your link to one of your videos and I'll post it in my live stream chat?
Yeah, will do.
Thank you
In a
very much.
second.
Cool.
Yeah,
What were
I'm
you
not
saying?
saying it's not formulaic. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just going to ask you what you were saying to continue. Carry on.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not formulaic, and that makes it seem contrived. But the same patterns arrive in any subject that's discussed openly.
Can you give us a comparison, like with ghosts or whatever you choose to draw the comparison?
Well, politics is the easiest one. You look at it, you have the divisive line, and then you have the sides that are chosen. Like I think Simon Dan would be equivalent to like probably Bill O'Reilly, maybe, because he's more of the conservative. There's a force pulling everything down kind of guy,
No, but I'm sure that's a good enough example for the people who know who he is.
Well, okay, well, let's try it on the other side. Whitsitt and InfoWars.
Okay,
That's why they were able to have a discussion.
I gotcha.
That's why that was possible.
Yeah, that makes total sense now. There's a link to Flat Earther going by in the live stream chat. Hit him up. Subscribe if you've not done so already. Check him out when he's live. Let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. That is actually a link to a video. Why not? Everybody loves getting comments. I shouldn't neglect to do it when it's for people on my own side. Like I literally almost give more focus to our opponents when I'm doing this, because I make a point of the fact that we don't get the support. But internally, there's no difference for me saying go and leave Flat Earther a comment. Let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. The fact that he sat listening to this is irrelevant. He still wants algorithmic love in the YouTube bot-ridden society that we live in. We want people to comment on our videos. So I'm sure Flat Earther's no different if you are watching live, although there's not very many. We have started early today. Please subscribe, leave him a comment, let him know I sent you. I'm sure Arthur does the same for me. In fact, I know he does. He's always babbling on about us, which is good. Thank you so much. Anything else exciting happen over the weekend? Any videos that we need to be covering? You're normally pretty good with that, aren't you, Sensual?
There's this one
There's
thing
one on
I
Master B.
was interested to talk to you about.
Hold on, just 1 second, Arthur. Say again, Sensual.
No, finish up with Arthur first.
Go ahead, Arthur.
So you've been covering 10th man's conversations with AI this past week, right? And I posted the link to my video where I have a chat with Meta AI because we have it on WhatsApp, and that's our primary messaging service that we use. So I had a conversation with Meta AI, and in terms of the difference that I found between ChatGPT and Meta AI is that Meta AI is quite polite and admits to its mistakes, whereas ChatGPT just regurgitates the same thing and puts the blame on you that you do not understand what I am trying to say. You do not understand my double speak. So Meta AI was so polite that I was able to make it learn, first of all, correct it through its mistakes, and you know how they try to wiggle out of sticky situations, and ultimately admit that the earth is flat. I have that video on my channel, and I also shared it on Master B like 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Okay, so that was the video that I just shared, presumably. Is that what you stuck in Master B?
I just shared my channel on Master B, not that video. I'll do that video as well in a second.
Okay. What were you saying, Sensual? Did you say you'd put something in Master B? I've forgotten what you said now.
Yeah, it's a video of a guy giving advice on how to deal with us and conversations with us if we raise flat Earth.
Oh,
If we're a
love
family
that.
member or a friend.
Flat Earth debate tips. How to handle flat Earth conversations without losing. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right up our street. Excellent. Yes. We'll definitely cover this.
Surely the best advice is to provide evidence for a spherical Earth.
It's not saying that, though, is it? It's how to deal with flat earthers and their tricky little winning tactics that they use. No, the way to win against us is to filibuster and rumpus and declare victory in the middle of a rebuttal. I mean, that's how we have to deal with our opponents, right? As in, they're doing that to us. Anyway.
Right, but you think the best advice is to provide the winning argument?
Yeah, if you're debating with somebody, right, you presumably have a positive position to put forth. In this case, if you're debating with a flat earther, the only assumption in mainstream terms is that you're going to be a globe believer. Well, how do you win the debate? You prove veracity, and then the question of whether or not it's flat is undermined at its core. Yes. In other words, sensual, yes.
Morning, guys.
Hello, Chocolate.
Good morning.
We are live. Please don't swear. Not that you were going to, but I just thought I'd remind you because we started a little bit earlier than we normally do.
Gotcha.
Because I've got dental issues and it's giving me lisps and things that I don't really need. Anyway, right, so let's do usual YouTube stuff. This videographer is called Steve Rhode, and I'm going to put a link to his video. I will replug Flat Earther later once I get his video about it wasn't ChatGPT, the other one that isn't ChatGPT, which coincidentally wasn't what 10th Man used.
Meta AI.
Meta
Meta
right.
AI.
The one 10th Man used wasn't ChatGPT either. It was like Audacity or can't remember the name of it. Something else other than ChatGPT. In any event, right, we're going to plug this. So this Steve Rhodes link is going by in the live stream chat. So I would encourage, although there's only 50 odd people watching, nevertheless, please let Steve know at Nathan Oakley 1980, all one word, sent me. Let's say you put an @ sign, and write Nathan Oakley 1980, all one word, sent me, and then a positive comment that won't immediately get eradicated by the YouTube bots, or be encouraged to be removed by the videographer in disdain for your snarkiness. No need. Just let him know that we've promoted his video. He's got less subs than we have, so I'm sure he'll be grateful of the or whatever you want to call it, assistance in the YouTube algorithm. And if he was to do a response, I would hope he would do the same for us. That is to say, put a link to our video. I would encourage you, as I say, if you are here live now, amongst the 50 people watching, to actually do this. So do actually click on that link that's going by in the live stream chat now, even if you're not necessarily a chat participant. But, give this guy a bit of YouTube love. Let him know I sent you with a comment that basically says exactly as I've just suggested. at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. We responded to your video. It's right up our street, whatever you want to put. But something that just alludes to the fact that we've responded. And hopefully, like I say, you do the same for us. I will keep doing this call to action a few more times, just so the people who do actually toddle along and disappear while we are live, because we are, do actually get the opportunity to do it and don't miss any of our live stream while they're doing it. So if this seems a bit repetitive, that is intentional. But yes, please let Steve know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment. There's not enough people for me to gauge how long I've just been saying that, because normally with 100 people watching, which is about how many we'd have at this stage, the YouTube chat scrolls up a bit quicker, so I can't really gauge if that's enough calls to action. But I think I've highlighted the point of us sharing the other videographers' links and getting my audience to actually do this, so that hopefully they'd do the same for us. We definitely don't get any YouTube algorithmic love. But by the looks of things, this guy's smaller than us, so he doesn't either. In any event, that's hopefully enough time for a few of you from the live stream audience to have actually toddled along to Steve Rhodes' video, left a comment, and made your way back to us. Were you about to add something from the
What's the name of this
Go ahead.
video?
Say again. Chocolate?
What's the name of this video?
Good. Thank you for reminding me. I should really put that into the audio. How to handle flat earth conversations without losing your cool. It's the name of the video by Steve Rhodes.
Any bets on what his advice is going to be?
We want
Are you
to
serious?
predict what his advice would be. I have no idea.
Wait. This is the 2020 version of 2024 version of How to Debate a Flat Earther. Huh? Is
Run
that
through
what
that
we're
with us,
getting
because there you
right
go. That's your gauge. That's your benchmark for this sort of thing. Tell us about that, Chocolate.
Well, I remember, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago when we got into this, what was it, space.com or something, had a article entitled How to Debate a Flat Earther. And basically they told us, well, they told their own side that basically ignore evidence and arguments and go with trust, right? So now we have in 2024 this guy whose video we're about to listen to, who is going to give that same advice, but except without losing your cool. That's hilarious. I can't wait to hear this crap. This should be good.
Any other comments before we do get started? No? Okay. I'm going to do a quick
I'll
sound
go
check.
ahead and say it.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and say it. Having your teeth pulled later on will be more comfortable than what we're getting ready to go
I
through.
don't talk about
Let's
having
do
teeth
it.
pulled out. Thank you very much. Right, I'm going to do a quick sound check on this dude, because I haven't actually checked the audio, as I've only just got it in the middle of this live stream.
Back to Old Guy Insights. Today we're diving into a question that's quirky, controversial, and pretty much guaranteed to cause some commotion. I mean, what do you say to someone who insists the Earth is flat?
Interesting turn of phrase. Insists Earth is flat. I don't insist Earth is flat. I tell people it's measured flat because it is. I mean, you can deny it.
Well, is that
Go ahead.
is that controversial? Is that really controversial?
No.
Where's the controversy?
Well, when you're practically applying something to Earth and it has a measurement involved, it will be flat if you want to practically apply it to anything useful. I wouldn't say that's something that's particularly controversial to have an insistence upon. It's what do you want to do? Deny it? Say again?
It's controversial to them if they have a belief in a ball. So yes, absolutely, it is controversial.
No, they measure
Yep,
it flat
that's right.
too, though.
One more time.
They measure it flat too.
Right, we're stepping right into the flat Earth debate, a topic that stirs up all kinds of strong stances and stubborn sentiments. But here's the question. What would you actually say if a friend or family member sat you down and said, with total confidence, the Earth is flat? Would you laugh, argue, or sit there speechless?
Or would you ask them for evidence of their claim? Given that it would presumably oppose your automatic fundamentalist religious belief that you're standing upon a sphere that was derived from flat Earth measurements, but you were unaware of the derivation from the original flat Earth genesis that we would declare in terms of Earth's measurements. But that wasn't part of your list, was it? Ask them to back their claim, which isn't actually a claim. It's based on measurements. It's not debatable.
Now here's the thing. It's not just a hypothetical for me. Not too long ago, a contractor working on my house actually asked me, "So, Steve, do you think the Earth is flat?" And my first thought was, "Oh, crap! Here we go." I didn't want.
Why didn't you just answer him? As opposed to, "Oh, crap." Why would you think, "Oh, crap"? Go on, whoever it is, Discord. Someone in Discord want to add something? Az, you're off mute.
I want to get into a heated debate with the guy helping to build this office, but I didn't want to just nod along either. I mean,
Not a debate. It's measured flat. Earth is measured flat.
in that moment, I had to think fast. I used some of the tips I'm sharing in this video.
Why would you need tips on how to discuss this? Just offer up evidence to contradict the guy that's claiming it if you feel you can contradict it, or alternatively, ask him for his evidence based on your belief that you need evidence because of your ignorance of the measurements of Earth.
To keep things civil and calm, and maybe even a little humorous. Plus, I leaned on 2 secret words I use whenever I find myself in tricky, tense conversations like this.
What words might that be? Maybe gravity? Would that be one of the magical words that you use just to get you out of tricky situations?
Oh, it's less profound than that.
Less profound.
Far less profound.
I'll let you in on a secret. Just between us, of course. Those 2 words, "oh" and "wow." Simple, right? But they're pure magic. They're the ultimate neutral responses, just enough to keep the other person talking without saying what you're really thinking. "Oh" and "wow."
Oh, and wow are the words. I thought there were just exclamations in the sentence, but those are actually the words. Wow. Oh. Okay.
So Nathan, his advice is to undermine us, because by undermine us, then he doesn't have to take us seriously or any conversation with us seriously. That's his advice.
I don't care. I literally couldn't care less. If I'm in discussion with somebody about this subject, not that I'd be the guy in the building site bringing it up. I mean, I'm just not that guy. But if I was that guy and I brought it up and this guy was like, "Oh, wow," rolled his eyes and walked off, I'd just think you were rude if I was trying to spark a conversation with you, regardless of the topic.
Give you space to breathe and keep from feeling like you're walking on eggshells.
Why would you think that? Is it because you're about to have your beliefs challenged?
So stick around, because by the end of the video, you'll know exactly how to handle flat Earth conversations.
Why would we need help on conversing with people? I don't get it. Offer up your proof for the position in debate if you feel there is one. There isn't. It's measured flat. Earth, that is.
Or any bizarre belief, without losing your cool, your relationships, and your sanity. And I'll share some surprising tips later for ending things on a high note.
Societally, that's what people encourage when people discover the nature of their reality to be flat. You're encouraged to ridicule, mock, detach yourself, bully. That's what you societally are encouraged to do. But you're projecting that out like you, the globe believer, needs to keep your cool whilst dealing with what the unreasonable flat earther. I mean, that's certainly not our experience. Our experience is that we're tantamount to gingers, like open season to ridicule us, treat us like dirt.
Even if they won't budge an inch on
An inch? What, like a flat measurement? You need a flat earth for that inch.
their beliefs. All right, up front, let's get real. When you're talking to a die-hard, dedicated flat earther, it's usually not about the facts.
Really? So if I described measuring, mapping flying, sailing, expanding the territories of the known Earth that we actually utilize with measurements, you'd say that that's not about facts. I mean, I've contradicted that the entire preamble before this statement, though, haven't I? Saying it's not about belief, it's about measurements that you're ignorant of. Your globe relies upon them. Without flat planes, you don't have a globe to create for you to think you're standing on it when you're actually measuring from inside it to create these mathematical orbital motions and spherical surfaces. You need to measure Earth flat to do all that. That's not, me not usually talking about the facts? When I'm a flat earther and we've got a panel full of flat earth and nobody's disagreeing with me, no one's going, hold on, I am that guy, I typically spout my beliefs. No, we shout about measurements of Earth in unison here, which must be denied, and then our opponents on the globe side don't like talking about facts. Got it all backwards, mate.
It's about belief, belonging, and
No, that's you on the globe. You've got a belief and a belonging to a worldview that is given to you from birth. That's belief. You believe you're standing on a spherical surface. When to create that spherical surface, you measure Earth flat and create orbital motion within a sphere on a flat surface. Go ahead, whoever that was. Daz. Can you hear us, Daz? Because I think it's you causing a bit of audio chaos. Daz. Someone pop Daz on server mute.
and a worldview they're fiercely loyal to. If you come in swinging with data, they'll dig in even deeper. It's like telling...
Okay, now you've got yourself into a situation where you'd have to have some data to come in swinging with. Let's hope you actually offer some between now and the end of this video. Go ahead.
What kind of data does he have? What a joke. You got pitch data? Oh, that's a horizontal plane. Oh, you got different levels? Oh, them are horizontal planes. All you got is a plane, dude. Don't joke yourself.
In a diehard sports fan, their team sucks. They're going to defend it no matter what. So,
False comparison fallacy. Earth measurements have nothing to do with how people affiliate with a sports team. It's false comparison.
Instead of a fact fight, let's talk about how to keep things civil.
Sorry, you just talk about coming in swinging with facts, and now we're immediately segueing away from that with instead of fighting with facts. Okay. Now I'm going to stick to the facts. Earth's measured flat. For everyone. Even globe believers. There are no exceptions to that. I mean, knowing that might mean that you think you need to figure out how to converse with me. I don't care. It doesn't matter what my tone is like, how cheery I am that day. Earth's measured flat regardless of my tone, my demeanour, or how I choose to communicate that with you.
Hold your ground and still keep your relationships intact.
What the hell does this have to do with any... This is now meaningless drivel. Yeah? This doesn't assist anybody. Keep your relationships intact. What, while I tell you it's flat? Because the measurements show it. What are you going to do? Tell me that... You know what I've got to do? My advice in this circumstance is to keep my relationships intact. What are you talking about? It's you and me. This isn't going to affect anything. Your wife's not going to leave you because we're having this conversation, dickhead.
So picture this. You're sitting across from your crazy cousin Larry, who's got that look.
That's a poisoning the well fallacy. So is Crazy Larry going to be talking about flat Earth, is he? All right. I mean, maybe I could cast a few aspersions about you based on a few stereotyping fallacies. You know, give you a few labels and names based on characteristics that I just decide to ascribe to you in opposition when I next come up with a little example that might not even be comparable to the thing I'm going to use to make you sound scummy in some way. Now my opinion of you has dropped because you've just poisoned the well in your example. Why would you do this? Oh, I hadn't done it up until now. Had I cast any aspersions against you and your nature? Had I called you a globe-believing muppet up until this point? No, suddenly there's been a turn in the tone, hasn't there? Yeah? You telling people to keep their calm while you example Mr. Idiot. In your example, oh, we know how your bread is buttered now, don't we, sir? Well, I'll just refer you as the globe-believing Muppet from now on, given that you've decided to poison the well with this term in your example. So, globe-believing Muppet, where are we going next? Let's see.
Look in his eye and it's ready to tell you NASA's nonsense.
What does NASA have to do with the flat Earth subject? Within your reification of your globe, you've got a sky vacuum that has NASA claiming to be in it, in violation of natural law. What's that got to do with flat Earth? That's your fantasy and your religion. So someone comes along and challenges your religion. How's that got anything to do with this person being a flat earther other than you calling him an idiot and having him talk about NASA? Your religious church with their priests. Go ahead.
I think it might be that the celestial sphere diagram, you can suppose the stars to be an infinite distance away, and that gives them their area of space that gas is not filling. So it's directly tied to flat Earth, their belief in outer space.
He's leaning in, grinning like he's about to unlock the secrets of the universe. And first off, keep your cool.
They got begging the question fallacy with the universe then. NASA's involved and he's going to talk about what they describe in terms of your universe. This is all hinged around your belief and a challenge to your belief. And you keeping your calm while someone challenges your religion. And the priests who purvey it. That's NASA. Right, let's just deal with your religion first and foremost. There is no sky vacuum for NASA to be peddling any stories that this guy may now talk about in spite of your poisoning the well and calling him an idiot before he's even been exampled. The sky vacuum is a violation of the natural law known as the second law of thermodynamics. If the sky was a vacuum for NASA to give you pictures and stories for your religion, then the gas you are breathing, sir, would fill that space in line with entropic dispersion, described by the second law of thermodynamics, entropic law. There is no sky vacuum to have a NASA story come from to debunk by your idiot in your example. Hey, Brian.
Hey, Nathan, everyone.
Stay calm, collected, and compassionate. It's
Also, don't lose your relationships. Does this empty nonsense got anything to do with anything? So far, we've had it 3 times. I think I'm clear about keeping calm with you. It's just you're testing my patience with your stereotypes in your example. What was it I decided to call him? Globe-believing Muppet?
It's the way to go. And when he starts in, instead of shutting him down, try asking, what got you interested in this?
What got me interested in the second law of thermodynamics? Not much. I had a load of people around me that had a religious belief in the sky being a vacuum. That's why I'm interested in this subject. Go ahead, John.
That's what he's got. What got you interested in this? This is a joke.
And if I'm going to follow along his stereotype, we've got a numpty idiot that's talking about sky vacuums and NASA being in them. And he's asking me why I'm interested in my version of my response, which is the second law of thermodynamics just describes how gas fills spaces. You think there's a space? Well, gas would fill it. That's the end of this discussion. What got me interested in it? Who cares? So do you want to respond to the fact that the gas isn't filling your belief in a sky vacuum, violating a law of nature? Why are you asking me what got me into this? Address the fact that you haven't got a sky vacuum for NASA to be in line with this example where the guy's immediately bringing up NASA because it's a flat earther? What the hell has that got to do with flat Earth? Earth's measured flat. Notice his example doesn't even include anything to do with flat eartherism.
It's a
This
good
isn't a
tactic,
trick. It's
though.
Again?
It's literally like, quick, look over there. Right?
Quick look over there at some aspect of my religious belief, in this case NASA.
Yeah, but
Basically. Sorry, Brian.
One
Say again, Brian, go ahead.
I'm just saying that the real question is, what's going to get him out of this?
I don't care. That was my original point, when he's like, when the guy looks you in the eye and asks you if Earth's flat, I'll be like, number one, I'm not that guy. Number two, if I ended up in a scenario where I am that guy and the guy's like, oh, right, how interesting, and rolls his eyes, I don't care. All right. You're not interested in learning the origins of your globe belief. Fine. I'll get on with my day, you get on with yours.
Yeah, but I think maybe I'm reading you wrong, but I think you might have missed my point. It's like
Maybe.
he's in a situation where he's trying to tell people how to deal with flat earthers. Why is he so interested in how people deal with flat earthers? Because he's got a belief that he can't support. That's why.
Let's just pretend for a minute that I don't declare myself as a flat earther. Okay. No, I'm not a flat earther, no. Earth is measured flat for your globe belief. Oh, you're a flat earther. No. Your globe belief, I don't take part in that either. So you can't attack me about some straw man stereotype that you've got. But nevertheless, your globe has its origins in flat earth measurements. Let me show you how. What are you going to do? Oh, how did you come across this information? Researching where the globe came from? Let's forget about flat earth altogether and look at how earth was measured to create the globe. Oh, I mean, that's flat too. I mean, that will obviously inevitably lead you to realizations that your globe religion is based on flat earth measurements. I don't have to be anything to tell you that. It's just a point of fact. The reason I'm detailing this is because Brian's here and he can back me up when I say, no, this isn't about flat earth. It's about the character of the person you're talking to. Because that's what he's focused on. And the relationships that might get severed as a result of you engaging with a particular type of person. Who cares? I'll tell you about measurements. Forget who I am. I could write it on a bit of paper and leave it on your desk, mate. What are you going to do? Argue with the paper when I tell you Earth's measured flat? That's how it'll be when people hand them my book. Here you go. Here's my book. Here's a present for you. Are you going to argue with the book when it tells you about the measurements that create the globe? No.
Yeah, well, if he doesn't come at me telling me about gravity and Earth curve and things like that, then I won't be saying much to him. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, he's got
Quite simple, isn't it?
Well, he's got two better words than gravity. Are you ready for this? Give me any argument as brief as you can.
What kind of argument? What do you mean?
Just say Earth's measured flat or something simple.
Surveyors.
Not an argument, that's one word. A little bit less concise.
Okay. Astronomy then. How astronomy measure
elevation angles?
bodies.
Come on, we can get that.
Elevation angles.
Oh,
Okay.
elevation angles. Oh, wow. How did you learn about this first?
That's his response.
That's his advice so far. Two magical words, O-H, and wow, W-O-W. Those are the two words that are his magic trick in his arsenal of these are the words you need to know and memorize. So if you come across one of these people, this is what will get you by. O and wow. Also, ask them how they started researching this information. That's his advice so far for dealing with us as people. Not the arguments, not Earth being measured flat, just how to deal with us as people.
That sounds like a kind of a...
Did he actually say that?
very...
Yep. Yeah, Brian.
Oh, and wow.
Yes.
Are the words
Specifically, reiterated it too. Yes.
That sounds
wow.
like a very...
I'll see his wow and throw another wow back at him.
That sounds like a very condescending hand wave treatment, verbal treatment of us. That's oh and wow, how did you come across this? That sounds like somebody had asked you at a party but yet they have no interest in your answer. Do you know what I mean? That's completely dishonest.
This comes back to when you were critiquing me and Naomi, saying, oh, why are you so hesitant to say you're a flat earther? I'm like, because of the stereotype attached. It's like, if I'm going to get into how globes measured, yeah, it's flat earth measurement. Obviously, the conclusion you can draw from that, you, not me, is that earth is measured flat, because that's what will be detailed to get to that. But if you decide that I'm a certain type of person that needs dealing with a certain type of way because of what I'm about to tell you in terms of earth's measurements, then I don't need to deal with that. So sometimes I'll be hesitant about saying, oh, well, you can call me a flat earther if you like. Like, well, all right, so I don't necessarily need to stereotype with that before you give me any information about how Earth's measured. See what I mean?
Well, you're not getting out of that one.
Yeah, I am.
Sorry, no. You're not getting out of that one. No, you don't have to declare yourself straight out as a flat earther. but you certainly shouldn't be evading it or denying it.
Didn't. I never have.
I don't know. There's been a few times now you said, "Well, it's measured flat." That's what.
This is a different subject.
You know what I mean? It's like it was a little bit dicey now a few times. It's like,
yeah, whatever. I know for sure and without a doubt. I know for sure and without a doubt Earth is measured flat, Brian. We're all good. Let's move on.
Genuine curiosity. Usually there's a story behind this kind of belief. Maybe Larry's fed up.
Yeah, well, you're dealing with people who've got a flat Earth belief, then, maybe this crap applies. But we don't have a belief. We're not believing Earth is flat. Earth is flat because that's how it's measured in all practical applications that you will ever suggest, ever, including, and not limited to, your religious belief in Earth having a spherical surface that you can't stand on. You can measure from within and infer the surface that you can never stand on because it's not useful. So you could learn, if you weren't so ignorant, how Earth is measured. But you've just got this idea and preordained vision of what you will be dealing with a random stranger who happens to mention Earth being flat.
Up with feeling lied to. Maybe he loves the idea of a grand conspiracy.
Why? At what point does anything that I have suggested at this stage have anything to do with conspiracy? Earth measured flat with elevation angles. Brian mentioned surveying with a one-word proofsy. I mentioned travelling, flying, sailing, mapping, charting. They're all flat. They're all measured flat, utilised flat, and at page 87 of an explanation that's very clear and concise about how Earth will be measured, that's flat, might detail how you could transpose those measurements into a globe belief that you may hold. That's the best you can do.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Apologies, I thought you were finished.
I am.
The word hold. When I just said, when you asked me for a quick proof of flat Earth, I just said surveying. You went, maybe not as cut down as that, but that's all I need to say.
You are right.
Yeah, you don't need to say, I can say astronomy, I can say surveying, I can say flight, I can say navigation. All four of them.
You could say horizon.
Yeah, horizon.
No, I'm not decrying them as one-word examples that are perfectly valid. That's not what I did. What I meant by that was to make it seem like a conversation that's taking place in a hypothetical example that compares to his, where he's got a builder that's saying, "Did you know Earth's flat?" or "Do you believe Earth's flat?" I was just trying to make it a bit more conversational for the sake of comparison. That was all. Not because I disagreed that you're like, well, what you got? Horizon surveying.
An attack on you. I wasn't meaning it like that. I'm just saying you don't need to say any more than that. Just surveying. That's it. I won't want to argue with you. Then go off and do some surveying and see how much core view measure. It'll be zero. Outside of the hills and valleys or whatever.
Or you could measure it for geodesic or geodesic. I never can quite say that correctly. Surveying
geodesic.
Where? Say again.
It's geodesic.
Geodesic. I can never quite say that.
Geodesic and geodetic.
Geodetic. Which one is it?
Yeah.
Geodetic or geodesic?
Just say geodetic. That's geodetic surveying. That's good enough.
I can't quite distinguish which one he said then because of the Irish. I'll just
you can say geodetic or geodesic surveying.
Okay.
Geodetic is okay.
Geodesic surveying, they measure Earth flat and then.
Geodetic.
He's saying detic with a D.
Well, it's not that important. The point is they apply sphericity after they've measured it flat. That's all I was going to say.
Yeah, they do. But no, you just need to say surveying. This thing about there's a difference between planar and geodetic surveying is not true. Geodetic surveyors do bigger expanses of land. But Dave was pointing this out years ago, right? They use the same tools and do the same jobs. They just do it in different areas. It's the same thing. If they're not measuring our curve with an auto level in one situation or a theodolite in one situation, they're not measuring it in another. Do you know what I mean? So it's support of what you say, because all they're doing is mathematically adding in globe afterwards. And that's only if they're forced to it. If you're out there working for a week, doing your measurements, whatever, you're not adding any globe in. I don't care what mountains you're up on. You're not adding any globe in. You're just giving the measurements. That's all you're giving. Like, if you're asked, you will add a globe in mathematically. But Maybe it's done through software or whatever afterwards these days. But I know for an absolute fact, you back 30 years ago, there was none of that going on. They just given their measurements because they didn't have the software 30 years ago. I know that because my mother's partner is a retired geodetic surveyor who retired 30 years ago, just before GPS even came into it. So all he was doing, most of what he did was trigonometry.
Shout out to Kanye West, says sending healing prayers for Neil. Get back soon. Thank you very much for the super chat. I've only got a few minutes left because I'm going to round out this stream. If you've only just joined us, we did start half an hour early. In case you're wondering why we're ending seemingly half an hour early, we're not. We have done a full hour. But I've got a dental appointment, so I've got to toddle along. My wife's booked me an Uber. We'll do a little bit more, though. Just a smidge.
Or maybe he just wants to feel like he's part of something exclusive.
I don't feel like I'm part of something exclusive. We're probably amongst the most ridiculed people on the face of the surface of Earth. Oh, yeah, I feel wonderful for being ridiculed more than ginger people.
We're the exclusive ones that just treat the ground the way the ground is, measured flat. We don't operate and navigate and live on a ground that is obviously measured flat, but then pretend that it's a ball. So if that makes us exclusive, I'll take it.
We're not. It's not that big a deal. I mean, everybody who's functionally utilising flat, regardless of their religious belief in sky vacuums and ball surfaces you aren't standing on, will always use and have always used Earth as a flat plane. So in terms of how it's functionally operating, it's no secret that it's flat. That's how it's used and utilised and measured and mapped and charted, flown upon, sailed upon. That's how it is. So it's no big deal. Now what, you thought that it was the globe that the church taught you in school? Oh, well. Now you know. The origins of that globe belief are flat also.
I'd just like to say on that point, yeah, I am part of something exclusive. We are part of something exclusive. But I didn't get involved in the topic because I wanted to be part of something exclusive. See, they can't understand because they can't believe that they can't understand or accept that the Earth is just not a globe. So they need to come up with all kinds of psychological reasons as to why someone might be a flat earther. They're confused. They don't understand the measurements, the this, the that, the everything. They're looking for, and this is the thing, they're looking for attention. They feel lonely. No, this nonsense. No, it's just flat, you idiot. It's just flat. Stop being a bozo. That's because we decided to accept reality for what it showed us.
And also from my personal perspective, I want to do YouTubing. And I did a YouTube survey today that they give creators that have got a few extended benefits, which I do receive, like actually being able to communicate with somebody if I have an issue, things like that. And they gave me a very, very extended survey. It took me bloody ages. It was probably half an hour, maybe even longer, to complete this survey. Anyway, one of the categories that they'd added, which I'd never seen described, was edutainment. I was like, I wouldn't say we do entertainment here primarily. We're here to educate people about, if you're a globe believer, the origins of your globe faith, or if you're a flat earther who has got crappy Feast of Nonsense standards to suggest the Earth could be believed to be flat, we would educate you in terms of how it's actually measured flat. So I would say primarily it's an education platform. That's why it's categorized that way. I list these videos under education. However, obviously, me talking about my woes with broken headlights and driving in the darkness, or talking about Neil getting into a car accident, or, you know, I'm not saying that's entertaining per se. I just couldn't think of any more amusing examples off the top of my head.
The heliocentrists bring the entertainment.
Yeah, there you go. The debate itself, when, you know, you see a globe believer being pummeled, some people find that entertaining. But obviously the subject matter, in order to have a conclusion that you can conclude from, if you're an audience member at least, there has to be some education in there if you're unaware of the subject. But edutainment, I'm like, yeah, I quite like that. You know, because it is a, you know, I can't just say it's education, because there's no, people come along and go, I really enjoyed today's show, very amusing watching blah, 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 blah. You know, or to incorporate that, I was like, edutainment, yeah, I like that. Anyway, total aside. I think we're done with this one. Go on.
I'm just saying it's a good word because
Edutainment,
go on.
because that you can't copyright edutainment because that's already been taken. Shout out to KRS-One.
Cool. But I like it as a category.
Yeah, I get it.
Definitely applies, though. Would you not agree?
It does, absolutely, because I can listen to any QE Live and get education, or FED, and get education and entertainment from both. Sometimes there's more entertainment than education, sometimes more education than entertainment, depending on what's going on at the time. But you always get a sum of both.
Exactly. If you take my most recent shorts video, for example, right, the way the video starts, bizarrely, because it's short and you've got to try and get it to make sense in a loop, is with 10th Man ending his AI discussion, right? And then it launches into me parroting off a line from the Terminator. You know, they can't be reasoned with, they can't be bargained with, and they absolutely will not stop until you're a globehead. Well, that is amusing. You know, it's a entertaining little skit where I'm taking a very true principle about AI taking over from the Terminator, but as a follow-on from what then comes in the shorts video, which is the end example of how AI is conceding to Earth being measured flat. So it's a very much although the entertainment bit came primarily because it's a shorts video and I want to hook people in the first 20 seconds or 10 seconds. But the bit at the end of the video, at the end of the minute, which is all you get, is AI telling 10th how flat Earth is. So it's very much educational in terms of the main reason for me putting the video out, but with a hook that's got a Terminator line that I would hope people would find at least mildly amusing and entertaining. So it's, like I say, I like the category. Should we do one more little clip from this guy and then we'll round out and ask people to stay tuned if they're watching?
Finding out what fueled his belief can give you a better sense of where he's coming from. And often, just letting him feel heard and human helps diffuse the intensity.
What a load of nonsense. Any last remarks?
Letting him feel human. Thank you, Globehead. Appreciate that, please.
Thank you for your permission to allow somebody who's human and communicating with you to be less than scum in your eyes, and how reasonable that would be to perceive them that way. Thank you so much.
And you know what? Now when you get that tooth pulled, you can be like, so much better than listening to that video.
Oh, don't say that. I don't want to lose any teeth. Anyway, with that horrible note from John, who's going to rub this in indefinitely, it seems, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow.
But what I'm going to say is, there's certain things that will turn someone from an absolute anti-flat earther into a flat earther, right? The basic information, if that turns someone into an anti-flat earther, as opposed to away from being a glober, there's certain things that will turn someone from that anti-flat earth position into a flat earther. But that is, and even no matter how powerful those things are, right, it still only affects only a very few. For instance, the black swan. John, when you came across that, you instantly went from an anti-flat earther into a flat earther because you knew there was just no way around that. But there's so many others out there who just somehow weather that storm and live in absolute delusion. And the same is true of the pitch data, I would say. There's surely somebody out there who has gone, nah, that can't happen, right? There's surely someone out there on the flat earth side who has said, no, that can't be. Now, more likely to happen with the black swan, but I'm sure it'll happen with both. Or even if you want to take elevation angles, celestial navigation, there's certain things that just can't be. But even though those things that are absolutely unarguable and so powerful, even they fall by the wayside for the majority of them. Isn't it bizarre that there's a group of people out there who are unbelievably thick to the point where they're willing to, when I say thick, at this stage, you can only call it stupidity when someone continually tries to state that the ship is not sinking while they're standing on the Titanic after the iceberg hitting it. It's like it's going down. It's on the way.
Washing is so powerful, man. That's why they get us when we're kids, right? We put that crap in our head, or we can even say the ABCs or 1, 2, 3s. You already see a globe. You already have that installed in your head. They do that for a reason, and they're good. Look how good they are.
Yeah, the solar system mobile that you spoke about having as a kid. And I don't know if I had a solar system mobile, but a lot of people had. I know, see, all that aside, when you reach the position of adult, right? Let's just say you're in your 30s. From 30s onward, you should be less and less impressed by authority, let's just say, right? Up to that age, you will be more impressed upon by authority, whether it be a parent or anything else. But as you hit 30s and on, you're such an adult yourself at that stage, like you're just looking at other adults in the eye. You respect if someone's older than you or has more experience, but you're in your 30s, right? You're not wet behind the ears as much. You're not a kid, right? So if you're in your 30s and on, and you see the black swan, how can you? I just can't. How can you say this ship is not sinking? Like it's going down, man. There's no way. It's like you might try, and it doesn't matter if the hole is a small hole or a big hole. The point is that hole can't be patched, so it's only going to continually
They're the band.
get out more. What?
They're the band that's playing while the ship is sinking. They're just gonna sit there and just play the music.
Glow band. It's just a glow band. It's a rubbish band, but I mean, I don't like. Let's spend years after the Black Swan trolling the hell out of flat out channels instead of just accepting reality. Let's get 5 or 6 sock accounts each and troll all the more well-known channels. Let's get other people to turn up and troll them with us, and let's all have secret Discord meetings on how to troll them best. As opposed to just accepting the ship is going down. While you're sinking, while you're actively sinking, you're focused on trolling flat earth channels and ways to troll flat earthers and flat earth channels, as opposed to accept that the ship is going down. It's just, it's, up to a point you can have a certain amount of empathy, right? But it gets past a point you can't. You can't go empathy anymore. It's just like they're stupid. John, I understand he has some empathy for him or has had in the past. But John, come on, man. It's been 5 years now in about 6 weeks' time or 8 weeks' time. It'll be 5 years. You can't tell me to have empathy anymore. That ship is going down. There's no stopping it. It can't be stopped.
He's not telling you that it isn't, by the sounds.
Yeah. See, for him, it's a big quandary because he knows that he had so much time invested in the globe and he loved it. To have to accept that was so hard to do. And I understand that he's one of the very few who was able to just accept it as they saw it, right? He thought there was a measurement. There wasn't, right? He accepted that, horrible as it was. And I'm sure it's been horrible for him after that. But it gets to a point where you have to address reality. Like, there is no door on your house. The hurricane is blowing in. You've got to accept that reality. You know what I mean? Sorry, I shouldn't have actually used that because that did happen to John's house. Sorry, John, I didn't mean it that way. It was just that came to my head. Maybe because I was thinking of you. You know what I mean? It's like you're in that boat, it's filling with water, you're getting colder. There's fish in the boat with you that you didn't catch. You know what I mean? What more do you need?
I like that. Once there's fish in the boat you didn't catch, you maybe start rethinking your plan. Maybe.
Yeah, there's a problem. Do you know what the worst thing is? There's an indestructible ship right next to you called the Flat Earth, right? The name of the ship is the stationary plane, right? And all you have to do is just turn around and put on your life jacket and swim over there, and you'll be hauled up and no bother. No, let's think of ways to troll flat earthers. Let's think of ways to be smart to flat earthers. Let's think of ways to personally attack flat earthers and get in their way. Do you know what I mean? What are you at? I just can't. For me, it's like, it's shocking. I can't. It's shocking. I can only laugh at these kind of times because if I didn't laugh, I get angry. Do you know what I mean? I have to laugh. How can you do it? I keep asking you the same question, a question you can't answer. So I shouldn't keep doing it. But how can you keep pretending it's not sinking? I don't know how you can do that. Hey, you know what you could do? You can make videos about how to address flat earthers. And you could say things like, oh, and wow, and stuff like that to them. As a response. Tell me all about this when you don't want to know. Yeah, like that's like chocolate. That's like chocolate. You saying to me something like me finding out that you're a toiler, right? That you toil floors or something, right? And I have no interest in toiling and no interest in hearing about it. But I say to you, oh, wow, tell me all about it. How dishonest is that? It's like, instead of going, yeah, whatever, I don't care. At least you know then I don't care. Do you know what I mean? Or, yeah, okay, that's grand. Do you know what I mean?
I like how
It's
this
like,
time though that the upgrade is how to debate flat earthers without losing your cool, right? Before it was just how to debate flat earth, right? From space.com. Thank you very much. Right? Now it's how to debate them, but without losing your cool. So what's going on? Are they losing their cool to the extent where the argument seems to be moot? I mean, what's going on? Why does their own side have to tell them to calm down and say things like, oh, and wow? I mean, that's literally your argument. That's what you're telling. That's your advice to people.
yeah,
Insane.
it is insane because what they're trying to do, this is another direction they're taking. What I deal with myself from my own channel, most of the time, most of the comments I'm dealing with are people who are literally trying to drive me mad. They want me to end up in an asylum. Not just me, but that's what they do with everyone. They want to send you into an asylum or into a rage or into something where you character assassinate yourself. Because if they can't find some dirty laundry on you that'll make you out to be a liar or a scammer or an idiot or something, then they've got to drive you mad. That's their last port of call. Or I thought it was until this guy turned up. Now we're dealing with, oh, wow, tell me all about it. The thing I don't care about. It's like, give me a break. It's crazy. They're crazy people. You know, they're literally trying to drive flat earthers mad. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to troll them to the point where they drive them mad. Like
Ryan is right.
It's a good tactic, though, right? Because if you drive the other people mad, it makes your argument seem a little bit stronger, right?
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Once you don't do that, and once you don't go mad, that drives them mad. So it's kind of like if it doesn't happen to you, it's going to happen to them. It's kind of like it bounces back onto them. You know. Sorry.
I mean, for whatever flat earther you're debating with is maybe spazzing out a little bit, but he's slapping you in the face with facts and measurements. I mean, does it make the argument any less substantial? No, but it appears to, right?
Yeah,
I mean, to the uneducated, it seems to. If you don't know what the flat earther is saying, they just sound like they're spazzing out, right? It just seems like they're just spazzing out. But if they don't, if they're understanding what the guy is saying, if he knows what he's talking about, it doesn't matter. Argument's done.
well, it's like the thing is, if they can't, like, they have a couple of tactics. One of them is to drive, at this stage, is to drive flat earthers mad, right, through trolling. And as I said, if that doesn't work for them, it ends up driving them mad because they end up getting the brunt of what they're trying to give to you, that kind of thing. The other one is to rehash arguments that were taken care of years ago, like bringing up nonsense that was blown out of the water, torpedoed, like 7, 8, 9 years ago, torpedoed, nonsense. Yet they're bringing it back up. It's like as if it's some argument that exists. It's like, like something as stupid as, now, the really stupid version of that would be, how come the stars move in different directions in either hemisphere, right? Now, that statement is so idiotic, but it also begs the question, so it's annoying, right? So it's an idiotic statement of stupidity, but that also has within it a trigger point that will instantly annoy me because I know that person is instantly begging the question of these hemispheres, right? So you can be taken away from the fact that they're talking about two opposite rotations in the sky. You can be taken away from that by that trigger of this hemisphere thing. So you have to know what to focus on, kind of thing, and in what order to focus on it. But there's just an example.
But think about it, right? It sounds stupid to us because we've heard that nonsense for years, right? But what about some poor normie? I won't even say globe, but just the normie who's falling into this, right? And now that's one of the first things they hear. Look how many people hold on to that little bit, right? They all have little points that they'll hold on to, right?
Yes,
to us, it's like recycled shit because obviously, if it was globe, there'd be new shit, and there's no new shit because it's not a globe, right? So they hold on, they recycle the same old little silly arguments to try to make them stay right there, don't progress at all, right? Because that's the danger to the globe side is when normies get into this and they progress in their research and start understanding what they're looking at as opposed to just turning on Simon Dan or one of these crackheads and just get their confirmation bias served on a silver platter. You feel me?
Exactly. I mean, if you're a 22-year-old girl from Nebraska and you're on TikTok and you don't know any different, and someone like Blue Marble Science turns up with some heap of nonsense, right? To you, it's brand new. To that girl, it's totally brand new. She hasn't heard this thing before, and she doesn't even think about the fact that the person saying the word hemisphere is begging the question, right? None of these things are going through her head. She's brand new into the topic. She just saw a few videos that showed no curvature, and she's a flat earther, right? So straight away, they have that person to work on. So you're right. To that person, that 22-year-old on TikTok who doesn't know any different, it's this big brand new thing. But to me or you, it's the neck of this person Because you know that they know that saying that to you, right, is so insulting, considering that you know they're begging the question, number one, and number two, you know that the other side of the begging the question fallacy is they're talking about two different rotations in the sky, something that doesn't happen. It's like it's a double begging the question fallacy, but it's also a really stupid thing to claim because it doesn't happen. But that could be enough for a long-term flat earther, so someone who's around a long time, to absolutely spaz out publicly. And people may not understand why. It's like, and just abuse the baller, verbally abuse the baller. You know, call him all kinds of names, say all kinds of stuff, right? Because that's what the baller wants. The baller will sit there all calm, kind of like Witzer, sit around all calm, right, with a calm tone of voice, while he's literally trying to annoy you. You know what I mean? And once they get that out of you, or out of a flat earther, the flat earther looks like they're gone crazy when they have kind of gone crazy. But that's after a long time of tolerating complete and utter rubbish from these basically, not all of them, but a lot of them, total lowlifes. I don't care. I'm sorry, but a lot of anti-flat earthers are a lot of them are bozos. But alongside that, there's a lot of them who are absolute lowlifes. They're scum. End of story. I don't mind saying that. Not all of them, right? But there's a big portion of these people who are lowlifes. There's no other word you can call them, because they know what they're doing. They know what they're at, and they're actively doing it. I don't care about their belief in a globe or anything else. They are not children. They know what they're doing. They're conscious of it. So when they're trying to do these things, so what I mean is that if they do that, if they say that stuff to a flat earther who's been around a good few years, and that person loses the head on some live show, right? I don't blame that person for losing the head. Now the outsider will go, "Oh, that person's gone crazy. These flat earthers are crazy," because they won't understand that person could have been dealing with these anti-flat earthers, these ballers' stupidity for years. You know what I mean? Let's say flat side. Could you get angry at flat side for losing the head with some baller, for calling them all kinds of names and getting angry at them and just losing it on camera? I couldn't, like, just as an example, flat side. I couldn't get angry at flat side for it. I couldn't say you were wrong. It's like, you know what I mean? He has to leave it out. That person has to leave it out somehow. But the baller wants you to do it live there and then publicly so they can point the finger at you. That's what they want. And that's the more annoying part, is that they want that reaction, because they want you to appear to the public like you're crazy or unhinged, or that you don't have control, or you don't have an argument or whatever. They want that. And that's the more annoying part about it. So it's just sort of, for the ballers listening to hear this, it's like 100 times more verified and more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's about 100 times, for the flat earther, it's about 100 times more satisfying when you don't get that reaction and you end up getting angry because you don't get it. That's like, for us, it's like drinking pure gold. It's like, you deserve everything you get. You deserve the craziness that you live in. You deserve every bit of it.
Yes, Brian.
Everyone's disagreeing.
Oh,
Well, Nathan, you
wow.
understand the situation more than anyone, don't you?
I need to see if this works. Oh, wow.
Wow, that's interesting.
Whatever led you to
Tell
first
me more.
research this, Brian?
Yeah, a little psychologist coach situation.
Does he know he's roboting? You're roboting, Brian?
Am I still roboting?
No.
I just said that sounds like a psychologist couch situation. Oh, wow. And whatever led you to this? This kind of attitude. It's like a psychological evaluation of you.
I have to have a little disclosure. Maybe I'm a little off because I have responded to Globe's statements with, "Oh wow, tell me more." I can't lie, I have done it.
You have actually. But,
How very, very interesting. Do tell me more.
You have a little
I don't
disclosure.
keep it there. That's the opening for them to tell me more about their globe that they believe in. That's usually why that's there.
I
Not to
thought you were
just-
going to hit him with the wall.
Say again.
You said I have a little disclosure, and I thought, oh no, here we go. He's either had his sex change operation or he's going to hit him with the wall.
His sister didn't improve.
That was totally clear. I understood everything.
Yeah, no background noise.
I said your sister didn't improve.
Did he say something about my sister?
he said your sister didn't approve.
That's what I'm talking about. That I got my eye on you. All right.
That's what your sister
Something
said.
came right out with the sister. It's like it was contrived.
Oh, no, it's on the way. A lot.
Oh, you're busted, Chuck. That was some weak meat. Nathan, book.
Yeah, we'll do it later once I get back from the dentist.
Yeah, I seen that. You got a dentist appointment, so book. Send Adam a message. Book today.
He's in there, isn't he? He's already joined, does he not?
Is he?
He's either in
He
here
is.
or... Yes, he is.
but he's
There he
working.
is. Book today. Set up a time at Nathan. Quick.
Well, it's going to take me half an hour to get there, half an hour to get back, and however long it takes for them to poke in my mouth. So, if you say maybe, I'm free in an hour, but I mean,
8
just
o'clock.
I'm at work, guys, till later on. So time you get your face sorted and it's starting to hurt again, I should be back from work. So
okay,
It's starting to hurt again.
jolly good. Thank you.
So it's 9 o'clock right now with me. So 2 hours? 3 hours?
I'm going to be near
3
at 3.
hours.
3 hours. So it's
3 hours.
3 and 4, 5, so 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Yeah, that sounds good.
I don't know if they were aware of this, Chocolate, but we were having a conversation.
Yeah, I know.
Well, obviously, I'm gonna disappear temporarily. Just let me get this in. So, obviously, I'll leave this recording going because it does sound like you've got a good conversation. But just be aware that I'm not here to coddle you or such like.
Coddle you. Yeah. I got accused last night of riding on your coattails.
And
I knew that bring a smile. I knew that bring a smile to your face. Yeah, he said
Told
it
you.
kind of. Go ahead, take over.
I told you he'd eat it up.
I when you said that, I knew it. Yeah, I could hear. As long as it brings a smile to your face.
I immediately saw Nathan in a top hat and long tails tuxedo.
So sorry to interrupt the discussion, but I didn't know because this morning was really crazy because Nathan came on early. It was really weird, so I needed to get in there, Brian, because you have a tendency to ramble for like.
I don't blame me. It's not my fault.
So I wanted to get in there so I could get the book, so we could get the book squared away. But please carry on.
No, it's okay. We were just talking about anti-flat earthers, and basically it started with, because I don't know if you heard it or not, we're just pointing out that certain things have come out over the years, the Black Swan being probably one of the best examples, where it's just undeniable, something that's undeniable. And if you're an honest person and you're honest with yourself, like John was, like Refracted was, you just go, yeah, that can't happen. End of story. But if you were willing to try and weather that storm and somehow somehow 5 years later be telling yourself it's refraction, right? Refracted blockage. However, that's supposed to give you some geometric help. I don't know. If you can do that 5 years later and you've weathered the storm for 5 years, you deserve the storm you're stuck in. Because if you're more if you're more go on.
No, I got you. I understand what you're saying. Yeah. Yep. You deserve everything you get.
Yeah, I mean, the ship is obviously going down, right? Like, there's no if, buts, or maybes about that. This thing is sinking. There's an indestructible ship right next to you. It's called the stationary plane, and you will not get onto that ship. You're pretending that ship is full of fools and that the ship you're on is unsinkable while you're literally going down. And instead of turning around and accepting your fate, you'd rather spend time coming up with ways that you can make new sock accounts for you and your friends to troll flat earth channels to try and drive flat earthers mad or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like, let's make another 5 sock accounts and make another 100 comments on someone's channel for absolutely no reason other than I don't want to accept that the ship is going down. That's all it is, isn't it? They won't accept it.
The ship has already gone down, and we're the ones on the door. There's not enough room for them on the door, you know?
Oh, you're talking about Titanic?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was a good analogy.
Oh, man, I just wanted to go ahead and say it, okay? It was on my mind.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Alrighty, so you're all going to be alright while I'm gone, right? You're not going to be leaving stony cold silences.
Well, yeah,
No,
because, you know, QE's going to be riding your coattails.
It's like accusing Mike Tyson's trainer of riding his coattails. It's ludicrous. In seriousness. Anyway, that'll be the last thing I say.
So you're gone?
There's guys, there's about 10 comments left on Steve's channel, and he responded to most of them. If you want me to read the response to my comment, he said, well, the point of the video was to be respectful of other people's points of view. So if he embraced that, that's awesome. So I wrote him back, well, the point of the response video to your video was to teach you how the earth is measured flat. No beliefs required and nothing to do with any points of view. So if you embrace that, that's awesome. There's about 10 comments from our members, and he pretty much responded to everybody with pretty much similar comment.
I am literally just running out the door, but big shout out to everyone who left comments. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Looking good.
See you later, Nathan.
Who are we talking about?
The video Nathan responded to. What was the guy's response, Chocolate? The guy said the best way to deal with flat earthers or someone who's a flat earther is to say, when they bring up the subject, just say, oh, wow. Tell me more about it. That was the guy's response.
Sounds like an educated man.
Yeah. I listened back to some of Ballbusters from the other night because I missed some of it because I was taken away from it. I had to do a couple of things, and then I needed to have a shower as well. So I missed some of Ballbusters because of that. And listening back through it, it's like the level of nonsense that comes out of Wixit's mouth. I mean, but he's able to, a whole sentence. There was one sentence, and it was like it had to be rewound and listened to. There was 3 times it had to be re-listened to for all the words within this one sentence that he came out of his mouth in a second and a half. if even that. Right? To get the full context of what he was saying in this one sentence. It's like, I mean, total rubbish in one sentence, but it's masked by a load of kind of highfalutin words and that are kind of patched together. It's crazy.
Did I stop it and then rewind? Yeah. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I can't remember exactly what that numpty said, but it was stupid.
It was just a short while after AI had lost his cool. What did Adam call it? A bullshit waterboarding or something like that.
No, a retard waterboarding.
But it's true though. Everyone is going to reach that point eventually with someone who's just bullshitting them and everyone else. There's only so much of that nonsense. There's only so many encyclopedia salesmen you can deal with at the door. You know.
I have to agree that retard waterboarding, that it was so hilarious at the time, but it's so true.
Yeah. What did he call the emitter? I said something, but he added to it a perturbation coordinator for the photon emitter. A perturbation, because that's what it would have to be for the ether. Yeah, it'd have to be a coordinates, literally. How would it know? How would the ether know where to light up? Do you know what I mean? How does it know this?
Perturbation coordinator. What the hell?
Yeah, for the photon emitter. I called it the ether coordinator, and Adam added to it and made it better. I called it a perturbation coordinator. See, under those circles, the implication is that the ether would have to be sentient and know the coordinates of where to light up. Like if I press on a laser pen here in my hand, how does the ether know? How does it know to light up the wall that the ether hit the laser is hitting? How does it know that?
Can't go too far with this, Ryan. It's dangerous territory, man. You have to be put on medication.
I can't. For me, there's nowhere else to go. But there's nowhere else to go but the word implication, because the implication of what these people are claiming, right? They don't really know what they're claiming. They can't even tell you what they're claiming. Most of the time, they can't. Even AI was saying it. Like when he was sitting around listening to some of the stuff they were saying afterwards, it was just like that's why like the claims are changing by the minute. It's this constantly changing, morphing, you know, like just the implications of anything they say. The implications always end up in craziness. You can't even decide whether it's 3-dimensional or 4-dimensional. It's 3-dimensional till you ask them for a measurement of it, and then it becomes 4-dimensional. You know what I mean? I think maybe today I'm just, my tolerance, I've hit one of those days where my tolerance for the stupidity, I just can't, I don't have it. You know what I mean? I don't have the tolerance. I just go, right, the implication of this stupidity you're saying is this. So the photon emitter would have to be a perturbation coordinator. They'd have to know, like the ether would have to know the coordinates on not just of the photographic plate, but the particular point on the photographic plate. It would have to. The ether would have to be a sentient being. We could call him Frank. Well, you could give me the implications. Like, give me, like, I know you're saying you could end up on medication, but like this, these are the implications of the stupidity these people are coming out with.
The implications for them or the implications for the people that are listening?
The implications of what they're saying. I mean, when you go from A through to Z, the implications are.
I'm sorry, I don't go that far. I stopped doing that years ago. I don't play that game. I told you, you're gonna need therapy if you keep up with this. You got to put this in a separate batch, like off to the side, and deal with it over there. Don't bring it into your coherent thought.
Too late. I just. After listening, I must have listened to 2 hours of Ballbusters again this morning. I wanted something to listen to, and I must have listened to 2 hours of it. And the rubbish coming out of them, absolute rubbish. But I can totally understand how we fooled so many people. Because even that one sentence answer he gave to Nathan had to be rewound 3 times, to listen 3 times to get the full of what he was saying. It was like a string of words, and the word electronic was being electronic. I don't know.
I liked how he Jedi mind tricked himself and the panel and everyone else into thinking that he said energy, and I was asking for the definitions. I nearly pissed myself.
But is the word energy not already describing? Like to say what is energy? What?
Sorry, Brian. You're correct. When you're listening third time, then you find out what he really said, Because if you're not listening carefully, you can miss it. But when you listen carefully, you can find out how many bullshit he said. Let's say in that last Ballbuster, I could not believe, because I was not listening carefully. Now I was listening very carefully what he's saying, but not anybody else, what he's saying. And that was like, what is this? Like, he's like making sentence up, like, what's that? Like a glober, man.
Yeah, just putting a string of words together and sending them out at you fast. And
he said wave is the medium. He said that wave is a medium.
Yeah, he did. yeah, he did. He said wave is the medium.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's only one. That's only one sentence. That's that simple one. He said something. He used some words and he made some sentence has no sense. Has no, like I will make it now. The stardust influencing the radiation of the Saturn. You understand?
No.
The star, of course, no, because you don't know nothing about astronomy. He said something like that. He said something what has no sense. He used electromagnetic sound. He used only words, and the sentence didn't have sense.
Yeah, but that's the thing about it. If you asked him, the problem is if you said to him now today that you claimed that the wave was the medium, right? If you just said that to him, now even addressing medium is ridiculous because he's claiming an energetic medium that isn't even energy, right? That's what he's claiming, right? But the point being is that if you said to him today that he had claimed that the wave is the medium, he'd either deny that or he'd say he only said it that way because we don't have the intellect to understand the way he should say it. He's actually that much of a lawyer or that arrogant.
Welcome to Shangri-La.
No,
he said something about it. Something is moving between, and in the end, he said one medium, like one. What was the plate, or how something is between if you have some one thing.
After you left Alpha Space, I got to go over how Mickelson Morley was not an experiment. That was awesome that got to be on stream because I just ask the right questions. What was the observed natural phenomenon? That the sky moves or the lights in the sky move. Okay, so what is your proposed cause that you vary and manipulate to verify that it is the cause? Boom. The conversation over. It was so great. And the silence after. And just let it simmer.
Vlad asked him the day later of that drama day. He asked him, "What is the point of this ether? What you want to achieve with this?" And he said, "This is the one of the good past proof that Earth is not a globe."
Yeah, this is how they try and sell it, isn't it? I've heard Witzer try that a load of times. It completely debunks the globe. What completely debunks the globe? The thing that I can't show you or measure or prove in any way or even describe coherently, consistently from day to day. You know what I mean? They're trying to sell people this as some kind of a flat earth proof or a debunk of the globe when it's not any of it. It's a heap of rubbish that they get.
Because
can't.
You know why? Its surface is not enough. The surface of the Earth. That's not enough. That all that stuff is not enough. We need something more. It'll sea level elevation. That's not enough. You need some. That's stupid. That's small. You need something bigger. INA ether. It's bigger. That's big stuff.
I've heard it was said to me by.
Sorry.
It was said to me by Whitted, if I remember correctly, that that it debunks the rotation of the Earth. Right now, you can't debunk something, number one, that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And if I was looking for a debunk of it, I wouldn't be going to the ether, like airplanes, things like that, completely debunk the claim that the Earth is rotating. Like things like that, just debunk it. Right? It's debunked because they end up with just a claim that because we see the stars rotating, that the Earth is rotating. That's their claim. That's what they end up at, because they have to deny every other thing that would show a deviation due to that rotation if that rotation was happening. Blah blah blah. They also have to deny the vestibular system of the inner ear. But all that aside, right? How does ether, right? What they would call ether rotation, whatever they want to call it. How does that debunk Earth rotation?
Well,
the claim of Earth rotation.
That was
Go
one
on,
thing
Flat.
that I made very clear is that the Mickelson-Morley debacle or whatever didn't prove anything at all. I made sure to point that out and make it very clear. And then I went over how it's not an experiment. You can't run it through the scientific method. And then again, very clearly stated that it proved nothing.
Exactly, Flatty. Proved absolutely nothing.
Did he ever tell you with your little, I don't even want to call it a debate, little train wreck that you had with him we were watching the other day, did he ever get to what the measurement was and what he was measuring? Was it ever stated?
I don't think so, no, because we ended up moving away from that topic. I think we ended up, if I remember correctly, he tried to come up with a scientific hypothesis where the independent variable was the Van de Graaff generator, and this was for dielectric acceleration. This was for dielectric acceleration. Yeah, he was trying to come up with something like that, if I remember correctly, towards the end of it. I don't think we ever got into what the measurement actually was. That never happened, that I can remember. The thing about it is that dielectric acceleration wasn't even supposed to be part of that debate. As in, if the topics were not dielectric acceleration, it was the photon, it was
electrostatic.
Electrostatics, and something else. I think maybe, we ended up ether. Sorry, ether. The reason we ended up talking about, I think maybe we ended up talking about the dielectric acceleration because he was using that. Yeah.
So you forget to mention the main one because that was barely touched on at all.
Well, yeah, because there was nothing presented for it. There were some claims, but nothing that came with that.
The only claim, it was underlying river was that interferometry was a precise measurement, Brian. I think that's what the main point was, if you can believe it.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because he was. See, the thing about it is that he needed to promote. He was trying to promote the very thing he was trying to promote to Adam and us. But just prior to that, it was about this measurement difference that he said was happening with interferometry when they're using the Michelson-Morley setup at different altitudes and in different directions. Right, this nonsense.
They couldn't use them. They couldn't do that. The setup, that makes no damn sense. What do you mean? The setup of the Michelson-Morley non-experiment? What? It was on
15 degree per hour rotation of something.
But it was suspended on Mercury, the setup.
Yeah, I don't know. It's that guy, Dayton Miller. No, that guy that they keep on bringing up. It was whatever he did.
With the millions and millions and millions and millions of times?
Yeah, that guy. Millions of times. Millions of measurements. This is the claim. Millions of measurements. So basically they're stating that, but think about that. For there to be millions of measurements, that if you're talking about interferometry, that would have to be millions of fringe shifts.
Yes.
Right? But that would require movement of the two beams, wouldn't it? You know what I mean? A difference in their rate going around the internal of the interferometer, would it not?
The rate of induction.
The perturbation of the induction.
Wow.
If the interferometry, it's a rate-based thing over time, yes, isn't it? That's the right. It's a rate-based thing over time. So, what is that rate? What's the baseline of the rate? It's time, right? Now, if you're talking about light, they must adhere to the two-way speed of light calculation. There's no one there with a measuring tape, if you understand what I mean. That has to be an after calculation of some kind, which means they'd have to be using the two-way speed of light calculation. It's talking about light over time and interaction between two beams over time. They would have to insert. It would have to involve the two-way speed of light calculation.
Wasn't it that it has nothing to do with time, and then it had to do with time, and then in the end, it doesn't have anything to do with time? That's yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it had nothing to do with time. It was just all about time, and time is the main thing involved in it. But it had nothing to do with time. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, actually, that whole debate, besides whatever mistakes I made in it, that whole debate actually is actually probably the most damning. Because when you hear all of it, when it gets down to his hypothesis involving the whatchamacallit, what's that particle accelerator?
Oh, the Van de Graaff generator.
The Van de Graaff generator. Yeah. When it gets down to that, you really start like it gets into trying to make a hypothesis. And I said to him, no. I remember saying to him, nobody's going to accept that. Do you know what I mean? That's not But look, at that point, it was. I had switched my tactic about 2/3 of the way through. I switched my tactic to having a conversation.
Can you blame him?
Go on.
Can you blame him, Brian? I mean, what else do you do when you don't believe in particles? You pull out your handy dandy particle accelerator.
Yeah,
that's what you do.
It's like I don't like not believing in fish, right? and going out and going out and catching a shark. Isn't it?
I don't know.
We could respond to that now if you want to put it on. I don't know if you want to do that though. So I'm only giving a suggestion.
It's too early in the morning for me to put up with that shit.
Yeah, first thing in the morning. Yeah, I suppose it is morning time for you.
I can still hear the sleep in your voice.
Yeah, I'm not putting up with that right now. That it's going to be a hard no.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about the time for you. Yeah, first thing in the morning. That rubbish.
I did get a chance to listen to a little bit of what you sent. You sent me something. So over the weekend, I got bored for a few minutes. I put that on. I skipped all the way through it because it was like on and on and on and on about nonsensical horse shit over at the Land of Misfit Toys, right? And then I went like 3/4 of the way through, and then another numpty idiot started talking. Him along with SE Montreal. That's the part I was listening to. It was so stupid.
Oh, that was where I listened into it. So I thought that was going on through the whole lot. Sorry, I hadn't listened back to anything. I just listened to a minute or two of it, and there was 2 or 3 people talking. I think SE Montreal was one of them, and it was. I thought the whole lot was like that. And when I saw Earth Awakenings, I mixed up Earth Awakenings with Jim Pandas because he's Humans of Earth or something like that, and I mixed up the name of the two. So that would have been over on Earth Awakenings, not on Gem Pandas. So
correct.
But I thought it was going. I actually thought that it was. I actually thought it was that guy Alan who space audits, that ether guy, and other people talking about the whole thing right through. So I apologize if I wasted your time.
No, it's really, really stupid. It's like the pinnacle of Dunning-Kruger with a Dunning-Kruger audience. It's really bad.
That Alan guy discredited himself with me when he said, irrespective of the grammar, the logic still stands. Nothing cannot exist.
Yeah, as if you're claiming nothing can exist. You know what I mean? It's like. Actually, how many days were you dealing with that guy Alan and his friends? Was it 2 days, 3 days? Because I remember one day you hadn't slept at all. You just all up all night dealing with them.
She's catching up on her sleep right now, Brian.
It seems to be. Maybe she's counting the days on her fingers.
It was like not consecutive days. It was like a few days of just. There was one day where it was kind of like back and forth, but then Alan, he ghosted me after I pointed out that the logic precedes the language, and laid that all out for him, and then Xavier took over. And that was a rampant conversation, and then somebody else took over, and that went on for a couple more days, just not necessarily consecutive.
So from one person to the other. It's like one person tags.
Yeah, I got passed around. I feel dirty.
I didn't mean to put it that way.
You missed this one, Brian. I forgot to tell you. But I popped into, somebody gave me a link to Politics and Religion server. I thought it was the Politics server, but it wasn't. It's Politics and Religion. I decided to pop in there, listen for a few minutes. And these idiot flat earthers, now they weren't talking anything about the ether just yet, but they're idiot flat earthers just screwing everything up. So I started to stomp a mud hole in their asses, right? But then I looked over and Hank was in there. He goes by another name. You know Hank, right?
I remember Hank Hill, yeah.
Yeah, Hank. Yeah, Hank Hill. But he goes by another name. I can't remember it. But anyway, Larry. That's it, Larry. And so there was a lull in the conversation, and I said, "Hey, Hank." I don't call him Larry. Hey, Hank, you're an ether believer, aren't you? So
Wait, what
Did
did
he
you ask
deny
him?
it?
I said, aren't you an ether believer? Because I knew he was, right? Deep down he is. Because I've heard him speak about it before. And he said, yeah, and he started giving me the something rather than the nothing. And then I said, wait a second. I said, what is ether? And he said, well, it's 0-point energy. I said, oh, really? I said, 0 point like your collective ether IQs. And so it started to devolve quickly. But I finally got him. I finally got him to say, yeah, it was 0-point energy. I said, you wouldn't happen to have a citation for that, would you? And he says, yeah, I got it. I said, okay. So I waited a couple, 2-3 minutes. And he sent me a link. I said, number one, Hank, this isn't a citation. It's like an entire link, right? But that's okay. I guess he was thinking that I wouldn't look at it. So I pulled it up. Yeah, I pulled it up. I should have saved it. I didn't. I can't find it. So I pulled it up and I started reading, and it was introduction. It was 0-point energy. In the introduction, it started talking about Marvel Comics.
Wow.
I shit you not. I said, Hank, I said, let me read this first sentence. And it had Marvel Comics in it. And I said, have you actually read this?
Marvel Comics.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, are they Spider-Man and all that?
Yeah.
The Silver Surfer?
Yep.
Well, he's going to need a wave. What? And where did it come from? Who, like, where?
I didn't save it. I'm kicking myself. Let me see if I can scare this.
It's hardly in there's no way to find it in any history or anything.
Hold on.
Someone gave you a citation from Marvel Comics.
No. It started out with the discussion of Marvel Comics.
Oh, okay.
Energy. And let me see if I can't scare it up. I'll put 0-point energy and Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics.
Stop saying Marvel. It's just Marvel.
Yeah, sorry. I'm not a big. I wasn't a big Marvel guy.
Yeah, we can tell because you keep saying Marvel instead of Marvel.
I tried to subtly correct you by saying Marvel.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Emphasize Marvel, but you didn't pick up on it.
I think I found it. Harnessing 0-point energy from Chase Blackmore, December 10th, 2017, from Stanford University. Here's the introduction to the discussion. I got it too. From the fictional universe of Stargate Atlantis and Marvel Comics' Realm of Kings to NASA's EagleWorks Propulsion Laboratory. That's the way it starts. I'll post it.
NASA's what? Sorry, could you just say that again?
Yeah, NASA's EagleWorks Propulsion Laboratory. I'll post it in Master B.
That sounds like it could be made up. Like it was something in a Marvel comic. Hang on, one thing. I'm at the find of some stuff. 0-point energy manipulation, superpower, wiki, fandom. The 0-point energy field manipulator / gravity gun half-life is used to lift objects as well as firing energy blasts. But that comes from, it all starts with Iron Man. Because Iron Man has 0-point energy field, creates a 0-point energy field. And what does it say here? This is from Quora. 0-point energy is the resting state of the universe. It's called zero because it has no energy to speak of. So in the real world, Iron Man's armor would, whatever, I didn't click on it, but. It says here, 0-point energy, ZPE, is the lowest possible energy that a quantum mechanical system may have. Quantum mechanical system. Unlike in classical mechanics, quantum systems constantly fluctuate in their lowest energy state as described by the Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Now, I thought Whitsitt said that quantum mechanics was retarded beyond belief or something like that. Listen to this. The question is 0-point energy the same as dark energy? Right? It starts off with, the steady and dynamic states are studied for a spherical cloud of 0-point energy photons. The anti-gravitational force due to its pressure gradient then represents dark energy, and its gravitational force due to the energy density represents dark matter. So, and this is from Cambridge.org, journals. I'll try to get this one.
Sounds like the no energy, what they're trying to describe.
Well, it's going to be hard to measure zero, isn't it, John?
Well, 0 times anything's nothing. Zero energy.
Just have them take an IQ test. Wow, this is pretty stupid.
It's amazing how they think that we're being more like Globers. Amazing to me.
Yeah.
Just, I'm going to sit here, sit pretty, and just let them talk themselves into a hole.
Won't take long.
But Iron Man has that zero energy.
That's what they're referencing. Iron Man. Literally.
Iron Man.
That's what it says.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Isn't that? And who was the Iron Man? The assistant to Einstein.
Tony Stark.
Oh, that one. That's from movie. Oh, jeez. That means we have all that warp stuff, warp speed from the Star Trek.
All right. I don't know. It's like, but it is definitely Iron Man because Iron Man is the reference for Marvel for the 0-point energy. Iron Man is using 0-point energy to lift stuff. Maybe a bit like Whitsitt was going to make my phone levitate. It's all coming together now like a jigsaw puzzle. Oh, Whitsitt Stark. Tony Stark.
Whitsitt Stark.
That's how he seems to be who we're trying to be. I wonder if he's an Iron Man fanatic. That would make sense. I wonder if all this comes back to him being a fanatic about Iron Man. By the way, some people are fanatics about certain comic book characters.
Nothing wrong with that. I got tattoos of cartoon characters. So what?
Yeah, but you're not out there trying to promote 0 point energy, ether perturbation.
True.
You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong. Or I didn't say there was nothing wrong with someone being fanatical about certain comic book characters. But it's when you're trying to create that character in reality, that's the problem.
Yeah, I like watching Bugs Bunny, but I ain't trying to sell no Acme products to nobody. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Let's look at the link I put in from Cambridge University. Dark energy and dark matter as due to 0 point energy. And now, he has denied that these type of things have any connection to ether, yet he's making the same claim about 0 point energy.
What about kryptonite? You know, Superman.
Well, that doesn't work on Iron Man.
Do we have that, or that's only bullshit?
we have a gas. There's a krypton gas. Is there a gas called krypton? Or what's the name of the gas? It's like krypton. It's not. Can't remember the name of it now.
Well, I searched one of the references from what you sent, Huey, that Hank sent you. I copy and pasted one of the references, and because I keep hearing about the Casimir effect and how it's such a huge stepping stone for ether, and it's pretty much displaying what the Venn graph generator does. But here, key points about the Casimir effect and the paper is 0 point energy. These fluctuations can be thought of as 0 point energy, which is not zero, and the configuration of the plates affects how these fluctuations can exist between them, leading to a net attractive force.
Wow. Is that theoretical?
That's what they think. No, I think that this is pretty much the basis that they're, because they use the Casimir effect a lot, the etherites. They talk about it a lot. Of course, we know that they use the Venn graph generator, and him bringing up 0 point energy. This is probably what they think.
Would you just read that out again, if you don't mind, the part you read out a moment ago?
Yeah, it's a key point about the Casimir effect in the paper that QE showed us. So 0 point energy. These fluctuations can be thought of as 0 point energy, which is not zero, and the configuration of the plates affects how these fluctuations can exist between them, leading to a net attractive force. So pretty much what's going on between the plates of a Venn graph generator.
Right, so it's 0 point energy that's not zero, because it can't be, because thermodynamics have already detailed that. So it's 0 point energy that's not zero that might lead to an attractive force between two plates under certain conditions. Is that a good summation?
And it's like a net attractive force. So it's talking about like it's still kind of sticking with the idea that some attractive force is happening on a bigger scale, a grander scale.
And that plastic cannot exist on the globe. That what you're describing cannot be in heliocentric model.
Yeah, attractive force. It's nearly like that. It's nearly like that term is familiar to me or something. It's like someone else used that term in the past, but they weren't claiming dielectric acceleration or ether. They were claiming some other thing. I think I heard it a lot.
Couldn't be Globers. No way.
What was the term again?
Go on, John.
I was asking what the term was.
Net attractive force.
Zero. Net attractive force, zero. Yeah, that's when they say that the force of gravity and force of buoyancy is equalized, and you have net force zero.
Yeah, nothing, in other words. So, an attraction of nothing is what that's all.
Hold on. Nothing can't exist, so it has to be something.
You cannot have also zero force. Then it's not a force.
Yeah.
It's not a zero force, it's a net force of zero.
Well, this one is a attractive force.
It's
is what
almost
being
force.
as.
It's not a force.
Almost parallel.
You can think of it as a force.
Yeah.
Well, one of the examples of a net force, I just put in net force zero, or net attractive force. Sorry, just one of a few examples just to make sure I had it correct. Yeah, one of the examples is van der Waals forces. Right, that's one of the examples.
Oh, brother. This says significance of the Casimir effect, fundamental physics. The Casimir effect is a direct manifestation of quantum field theory, providing experimental evidence for the existence of quantum fluctuations in the vacuum.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Where is vacuum?
Wouldn't say it's between plates. That doesn't make any sense.
It's between their ears.
Oh, yeah. Not my ears. I got some gears in there turning. Maybe two.
Mine are all stripped out, so they spin easier.
I need some WD-40. You got to say it W, not W.
W.
Oh man!
Can somebody on panel tell me who understood that everything was was written? All that how do you say fluctuation? Who understand
you want me
that?
to read it? Do you want me to reread it for you?
Please,
no, read it, Flatzy. Who understood it?
Oh. Oh man. Well, it just made a bunch of baseless assertions, like a manifestation of quantum field theory.
But sounds intellectual.
Quantum field theory itself is a contradiction.
Yeah, and also a vacuum. Like, did that just get pulled out of thin air? Pun intended.
Unintended, yes.
That was good.
All of these things that they're speaking about are all being referenced in heliocentric lore. All of them, aren't they, Flatsy? They're all somehow coming back to whether it be some hijacking of the term quantum to make something appear like it's part of quantum mechanics, or it's going back to dark matter and dark energy.
Because it's quantum foam, duh. I mean, come on, get your ether right.
He did mention quantum foam to me.
Color me surprised.
Practically it's something what you'll never understand, but it's happening.
Yeah, everything's drawn to the center of mass at a point, 0 point energy. Why are you flat earthers not getting this? Huh?
Because we are speaking about surface of the earth, not about particles.
Oh no, all right. I'm
Yeah,
trying to make
yeah,
it
surface,
wild
surface.
equivocation. No.
That's why
Wild
we are calling
equivocation.
ourselves. That's why we are calling ourselves flat earthers, because of surface, not because of particles or science or whatever. Not because of ellipses, not because of Einstein, not because of Newton, not because of any science. Only because of surface we are flat earthers.
Yeah, that that dude on that video that Brian that you sent me, there was a guy. It was like 2.5 hours, nearly 2.5 hours of this idiot going over special relativity and how it wasn't coherent. When
Oh,
I
your man Alan, was it? That was that guy Space
I don't
Motor. Yeah.
I don't know these. I don't know who it was. Might have been. I don't know. I could summarize it in less than 5 seconds. Special
Go ahead.
relativity. Special relativity isn't a scientific theory. Then we could just move on.
Yeah. That's all that out. No need to go any further into it.
Yeah.
Special relativity is based in a fourth-dimensional paradigm that nobody has ever experienced or can prove, because we all live in a three-dimensional paradigm. It's made up, mathematical. It's a made-up paradigm, made up by
I don't
Albert
know if
Einstein.
it's 4 dimensions. Nah, I don't think so. Not special relativity. It's dealing with flat space-time.
It is.
I'd have
It
to
is,
go
but
back.
it still exists in heliocentric.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't think it's space time either. I'd have to go back and you know what? I'm not going to.
Effluvia.
I knew that. See, that is Flatsy's favorite word.
Effluvia.
You little vixen, you.
Yep, I just can't help it. That's what I think of every time, because I'm thinking that they're in their imagination the planets swimming in the effluvia.
Yeah, I know that, you little vixen, you. You're all over that effluvia. Let's see where Flatsy got that from. Hold on.
From the citation, I'll get it for you.
I got it somewhere here.
Yeah, it's the one that mentions Maxwell.
Yeah, Maxwell. He gave the. I don't think it's a definition. He gave the background of where the ether came from.
Mm-hmm. Yep. From James Clerk Maxwell, 1878, ether in Bain's TS.
Yep.
Encyclopedia Britannica. And magnetic effluvia.
Read the whole
What's
thing.
wrong with the mathematics?
Okay. Ethers were invented for the planets to swim in to constitute electric atmospheres and magnetic effluvia to convey sensations from one part of our bodies to another, and so on, until all space had been filled 3 or 4 times over with ethers. The only ether which has survived is that which was invented by Huygens to explain the propagation of light.
By who?
Huygens.
No, Huygens.
Huygens.
Yeah, Christopher type, one each. There you go.
I just tried to get the in there.
Oh, you didn't do well. It sounded like Kliggins, like Klingons.
Okay. My bad.
Did you say the only ether what survived?
Yes.
Was invented. Yes.
I thought it was more ethers, and then now one survived.
No, that's just there's just one. Christopher Huygens or Huygens. There's just one that has survived, even by James Clerk Maxwell, and it's one for you need it, a medium for the propagation of light. Why? Because it was Christopher Huygens that proposed that light was a wave.
Hold on. The main term here was the only one that survived was invented.
Yes.
Well, what's
Why did
wrong
he
with misapplying?
So why did Christopher Huygens conjure or invent ethers? His ether.
Same reason that Witsit did.
I don't think so. Maybe in his first go around, but not his second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth go arounds.
Oh yeah, because light is the medium. That's right. I'm so sorry.
No, he said light's not a wave. I never said light was a wave. What's it?
The wave is the medium.
I can't keep track of it, dude.
After 4 hours of saying that we needed a medium, because how else could the wave travel? Then he
When
denies
is the
that
rest
it
of
was
the
a wave.
community gonna? When is the rest of the community gonna come together and say, "Hell no"? You know, there's got to be a point where the community comes together and kicks the garbage out.
Yep, you'd think that would happen. But that's not happening.
A lot of esoteric flat earthers got an earful of Alpha and me and some others like Amish and just a little bit of everybody was chiming in, talking about it. They got an earful of our objection to it and why it's being challenged the way that it is. You know, here on the flat Earth, if you're going to present something, then and you can't back it up, and you want to still propose it as something viable, well, then you're free game.
And with that, I'm going to say another huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G Plus panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.